Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you again for your time today. Today, I'm paired with one of our distributors located on Eastern Canada, ZIESTECH, who has been our partner for many years, based out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, serving the entire country of Canada, frankly. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up and provide an overview of some of the new items that we're bringing in, both in the IP phone market as well as some innovative technology, which allows not only the implementation of our phones, but also to be able to bring not only our phones, but many IP-based solutions across a two-wire solution. Since our introduction of two-wire, quite frankly, it has caught on a lot of steam, and that we'll talk a little bit more about that moving forward. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is just do some house cleaning items in advance. For anybody who has any questions, everybody will basically be in mute on this webinar today. I would invite you to put all the questions in the question box so that I will stay on as long as possible to address any of the questions that you might end up having. And for those who are actually on board, you may have in your GoToWebinar client either a material or a pull down material, which you can actually download a PDF version of this presentation. So therefore, I'll save you some note-taking time, and you can just have a download copy of a PDF, and then you can jibble jabble all you want with it, and you can move forward with that in mind. So having said that, what I will do is then just move forward. My name is Tommy Lee. I'm the VP of Sales for North America for Fanvil. My contact is right at the front. You can just download this presentation. Along with me is another gentleman by the name of Andrew O'Connor. He is a representative of ZIESTECH, and he'll be actually doing a presentation. So while I get started, what I want to do is pass the mic on over to Andrew to allow him to sort of give a quick overview for ZIESTECH, and then we'll transfer back to me. So with that stated, I'll pass it on to Andrew.
All right, thank you, Tommy, and good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew, and I work for ZIESTECH in marketing and sales. First off, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to be here with us this morning. And before Tommy takes a deeper dive into Fanvil Solutions, I'll give you all a quick introduction to our company and how we became distributors for Fanvil. So if you've never heard of ZIESTECH, we've been in business since 2016. We started off specializing in telecom, but as the company grew, we moved towards complete IT solutions, partnering with the leading IT manufacturers and focusing on servers, UPS systems, storage, networking, endpoints, and most importantly, telecom, therefore IP phones and headsets. Our slogan, service first, solutions always, means that we will always put the customer's needs first and tailor solutions that fit those individual needs. Furthermore, ZIESTECH is 100% Canadian owned, and we have expanded our service offerings to the US this year. Our main office is in Montreal, Quebec, but we have facilities across the country. We're also proud to mention that we've been featured on the Globe and Mail's top growing companies in Canada 3 different times throughout our journey. Next slide, please. ZIESTECH became an official distributor for Fanvil in 2021. We began as resellers, but quickly became distributors after our demand and volume for Fanvil increased. Some of our key Fanvil services include pre and post-sale support and private labeling, meaning if you purchase a certain amount of phones from us, we can directly work with Fanvil to have your phones personally branded. We also hold plenty of stock in our own warehouse and have a great warehouse team, which allows us to ship orders to you within the same day your order is placed, if it is placed before 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Lastly, if you are an installer or a reseller for Fanvil, we are happy to offer advantageous reseller pricing for you. Next slide, please. Finally, why should you choose to do business with ZIESTECH? Well, firstly, because you will have a dedicated account manager who will always work closely with you and offer solutions tailored to your unique needs. We're also a small and agile team here at ZIESTECH. This allows us to work strongly together to provide you with answers and solutions quickly and efficiently. On top of that, we'll serve you anywhere in Canada, whether it's Eastern or Western, and even all across the USA, offering you fair and competitive pricing and rapid same-day shipping. For more information on ZIESTECH, you can check us out at our website, ziestech.com. You can send us an email at sales@ziestech.com or call us anytime at the number on the bottom right side of the screen. I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and now I'll pass the mic to Tommy to continue with the webinar.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate the overview. And for those who really have come on to Fanvil, typically about 10% of some of the people who are brand new to this industry, as well as to Fanvil as well. I just want to dedicate just 2 slides to kind of give a quick overview of who Fanvil is. I mean, we are a manufacturer of endpoints. We tend to play Switzerland with regard to switch manufacturers who are a very large partner of ours, which work in conjunction with our endpoint solutions. And what you'll tend to see besides Fanvil is you may hear the other brand name called Linkville. And what Linkville is really a sub-brand of Fanvil because we intend to provide a big expansion of our wireless or hybridized product lines. And one of the common threads you'll see in nearly all of our solutions is that we are all SIP-based and we are all pure IP-based type solutions that conform with the technology SIP. Having stated that, SIP is really the new technology which is adopted by all the top Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, become really the POTS replacement of all of the different voice and video-based communications. And we have manufacturers that are based throughout China, as well as manufacturing based in Vietnam as well. We understand that some of the market segments demand, manufacturing in and out of different locations to really conform to whatever requirements they have. And we actually have the manufacturing base to be able to support those type of needs. In addition to that, we've been in business for 22 plus years. Many people who have been in the UC business for a long time, chances are you may have touched one of our products. It may not have been a Fanvil because our initial entry into the marketplace was always manufacturing for much larger brand names. But then over the last several years, we've decided to come in the market, and now we've become basically a namesay in many of our solutions that we provide to the marketplace. Obviously, we're a big engineering company as well. We devote quite a bit of our resources to our R&D and personnel, and that very recently we've actually, invested about $1.1 million in putting together an acoustic laboratory so that you can actually go ahead and see, because we realize when you're in the sound business, making sure that the quality of audio that you hear should be that of at least what you expect, if not a lot better than many of the sounds that you hear moving forward. Having stated that, let me just dive and sort of provide a quick overview. Even though this webinar is focused in on IP phones as well as the 2-wire solution, we actually have 4 columns of product lines that we actually support, but I'll have any focus on this. If you have any specific questions on any of the other product lines, feel free to go ahead and send me an email. I'll be more than happy to work one-on-one with you to look at that. One column we have here is our IP phone market, which is a pretty large segment of our marketplace. And I'm going to go into a lot of the different segments that we address in the IP phones in the SIP segment. So I'll reserve that for future slides. But some of the other items which differentiates us from a lot of our competition is that SIP really expands a lot more further into voice than just telephone itself. It expands to lots of other different endpoints, and we differentiate by providing many of the different endpoints that SIP reaches into, which allows our resellers and our integrators to be able to really address a whole swath of solutions under one umbrella. And because that one umbrella is all managed by a provisioning service that we provide free to our partners, and that they can go ahead and provide uploading of firmware, data, and also manage some minor debugging from one remote location so that you can really work with all of these different peripherals from one location rather than having to adopt different management systems from many different vendors. You can grab it all under one umbrella that we do. Besides intercom and broadcasting, we also have access control. This is a big growing segment for us, and we actually contain units that fit outside or that are both ruggedized to be able to handle, the hot summers of Miami all the way through the cold winters of up in Maine. And so, having stated that, we have both outdoor units to have a simple one button solution to everything that ranges from there to facial recognitions with large displays that might be able to support multi-dwelling units, if not more, to meet your specific needs. Besides outdoor units, we also have indoor stations, which really serves as the uh, display that people can go ahead and see whether or not you have Domino's Pizza waiting at your door. You could just push a button, which allows a gate to open. And then last but not least, we have the hybridized collaboration, which is under the Linkville product name. And if you see here, this is where our wireless solution technology, which we provide video conferencing solutions into the SMB market, coupled with a lot of pair speakers, which really gives them an enhanced capability of many of the standard solutions that salespeople travel with and marketing people travel with, along with many of the other items as well. So having stated that, let's go do a deeper dive in how we further differentiate. Some of the things that Fanvil really does that's a little different from manufacturing is that we bring a lot of staff into the local marketplace. Two people in support, we realize that when you change technology from old pots into the SIP marketplace, many of the technology has to be learned from not only our representatives, but also many integrator partners are just having to do a conversion as well. And we have local tech support, which is really provided by both Hector and myself, which are actually based on East Coast and West Coast times here in throughout North America. So the good news is that if you're tactically out in the field, you do have access to online contacts, or if you're just getting started, we have NFR programs to allow you just to go ahead in and we'll make that landing pretty soft for you if you want to adopt the new technology for us. As well, my focus is really in on local commercial support, which I manage many of the channels and also address some of the high level technical issues. But if you really want to do a deep dive and go through some major issues, then we have the staff here to really not only support our distribution and channel sales, but we also have them to support our integrators out there who are deploying our solutions into the field place. Now let's do a deeper dive into our Fanvil IP phones. One of the things that we want to focus in on is really our V series. This is really our latest series that we've come out with. And to put a long story short, we have really identified a platform that really has all of these different segments put into one line. And what we realize, you see a lot of the clouds here that says new. We recognize that the business has really changed for a lot of major ITSP manufacturers out there because many of these endpoints have almost become a point where it becomes part of the solution. And what we've done is we've taken lots of the features that were offered on the high-end lines to really be offered by many of the low-end lines as well. It may come with a smaller screen, lesser feature sets, but given that it may end up fitting your specific solution set while saving you cost dollars and being able to upgrade to a Fanvil-based solution set. I'll go into all of these, but to give you a quick idea, these are just the V series starting all the way at the top, V67 and 66. The 66 is a brand new phone that we're introducing that we're going to come out with later this month. And what this is really the Linux version of our top line V67. There are some minor differences, but a major, that it has a tilt screen, touch screen. It has really all of the different features that people like with our V67, but under a Linux operating system, so that it really gives you the most flexibility in being able to support your client needs under a different operating system if that's what you want to do. As well, we also have V65 and V64s. This is kind of where sort of the sweet spot is located at, because the 64 and 65 is really where most of the people focus on in terms of volume, because it really provides lots of feature sets given the particular price point and where they're located at. The difference between the two is that the 65 supports video. And what I mean by video is because we support access control with cameras and everything like that, those cameras can actually be displayed on the V65. So if you have an SMB or any particular environment that you want to have a phone serve as a conferencing center, you can gauge a video, see on who is at the gate, and you can push one of these keys so that you can allow them to enter in at the gate if need be, or you could use our 64, which provides everything but that, but in a smaller environment. Recognizing that many people are focusing on the low end solutions, we've decided to take a lot of the sweet spot and be able to bring that down into lower models or baseline models that offer different options, such as a white phone. We've heard many cases where people says, I need to get a white phone. Well, we decided to go ahead and do that and offer really a gigabit interface, color screens, and being able to provide the wireless solutions, even in our low end environments, which really provides you with all the baseline needs that everybody wants, but at a more baseline price. Obviously, because of the G, all of these actually support gigabit. So none of these are actually shortchanging you in any way. They all have color screens, gigabit interfaces, six-way audio conferences, and more, from our top end to our low end. Another big series that we do is really our XU series line. This is also very popular. In fact, the XU and the V series really top off at where our most popular line is. We have the X6U. We've kind of come out first in the marketplace with our dual or maybe tri-market, which you could actually have a desk phone that almost doubles for an SMB environment as almost a reception phone. If you need a reception phone from Fanvil, you can, with a lot more buttons than what the X6U offers, because it actually provides 3 buttons of this. You can move up to our X210, which then gives you 3 buttons or gives you over 106 DSS keys to really provide on one platform. Why do we like the one platform? Is because you program it and remotely provision this as one single phone, giving you full access to all the different items here to make configuration very simple. And the really sweet spot here is our X4U. This is kind of where the market really focuses on and providing all of the features that you basically need on the X4U environment. Again, with plastics, many people are out there looking for emergency phones, and we decided to really bring a red phone into the X5U. It also becomes very popular because you have something that want to differentiate itself just by plastic colors, and it's become very popular in being able to provide all the basic needs under a separate color environment if that's what you want. But that's our other XU line that we're bringing it. All these are wall mountable as well as the V series. So these provide any of the flexibility for the business environment. Besides the business environment, we've decided to also have a hospitality environment as well. We have a hospitality line, which we have the X5U and the X6U, both of them with W, which indicates that this is also supporting Wi-Fi. Because most hospitality lodges today actually have Wi-Fi, these phones can actually take advantage of the Wi-Fi environment and be able to lower your cost in being able to address infrastructure challenges that you might have in meeting budgets. But I'll also address an alternate solution with 2-wire, which might be able to address that as well. We have both solutions in separate colors that have soft displays. Why do we offer soft displays? Because classically in most hotels, you have a phone that has a hard wire faceplate. We have that as well, but the advantage we have in the soft plate is that you can upload a bitmap image of the actual hotel environment, address, and programming of all the software keys, and you avoid all of the faceplate modifications, because you might have an extra phone when one breaks down. But in this case of the H5, it's a great backup, or the H6 is a great backup, so that you don't necessarily have to have a faceplate, and you can just put it into the room and it can work just as people programmed it. Similar to the narrow part, some places have an access point that you want to be in the bathroom, or it could be an auxiliary room within your office. We have a narrow phone, which kind of takes you back into the 70s, in all different types of colors that you want to be able to address a narrow-based 2-line phone. So we put this in the hospitality, which is most popular, but at the same time, this has also found to fit in many business environments as well that demand small real estate, wall mountable, and be able to answer a call without necessarily taking up a lot of real estate within your office environment. Just a quick idea on how easy it is to really modify our faceplates. As I mentioned earlier, besides our soft displays, we have a whole process in place. My goal here is not to go in and teach you how to do these things, but we have tools in place that will allow you to really upload the hotel names, define all the programs, and we'll go ahead and define the H1, H3, to our new H4 series that are in different colors to really modify those faceplates to meet your needs. And we have all those tools in place should you come across that. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Andrew at ZIESTECH or myself, and I'll be more than happy to walk you through the process because many of our partners are very familiar with our process and will be able to walk you through. Besides hospitality, we also have a what we call our retirement phone. We looked at many people who have really are dedicated to working with retirement communities, senior living conditions, and we've decided to build an endpoint that is also SIP-based because many people out there you might see in commercials about senior living phones that have it, but those are all commercial based. And we were one of the first people to come out with a senior phone. And what we did there is really increase the function button size, which you can allow pictures of your relatives, your friends, your neighbors, what have you, so that it really provides easy access. In addition to providing large buttons, we increase the size of the screen. We increase the size of the buttons so that it provides buttons, and also they're braille based, so you can actually have braille based keys to allow people to do that. But not only is it just functional in that case and being able to easy access through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi access on this phone, what makes this really nice is really the one-click emergency call, which takes it one step further. Why is this really important? Is because we actually have one-click call buttons. Because it goes into the senior community, you realize that these people might end up being able to fall on the ground or something like that, may not be able to get up, or they might travel and they might be in a place where they don't have access to contact that emergency button. What we're actually, as an accessory to this phone, we actually have battery lists, and I quote battery lists, key fobs that you could actually hang as a lanyard, or you could put on a desk or hang on a wall. These little items that you can actually have, that you can push a button, and what that button will do is automatically click off a help key, which will notify maybe the center desk, or you can actually use a help key to call a relative to make sure that something is wrong and I need your help to come by to pick us up. Okay. And that's really a nice way to be able to provide this. And the distance on this is really similar to that of DECT. And you can really cover most of the distances on these keys. And the key idea here is that it's batteryless. I always use the analogy of a TV remote control because I never realized that that remote control has run out of batteries until I try to up the volume and I realize it doesn't work. You don't want to have that in an emergency environment. And then these keys themselves actually work off of the click. The kinetic energy that you put through these buttons is good enough to allow this, and you can be within a good distance in most places and be able to kick off a help key that will sort of ask for assistance either from a nurse, a relative, or a friend. Now, some idea about deploying some of our solutions in a two-wire solution. Let's face it. Most of the people that live today have a legacy home that's been built with the classic POTS line in your kitchen. That may be the same with many of these small and medium-sized businesses that are out there. They have old infrastructure that have a classic 66 block in the room that all these wires come in, and they support an old phone that kind of looks like this. This is the phone I grew up with basically, and you have old analog intercom systems and old camera systems that have all been wired, especially for two wires, and you say to yourself, gosh, I want to upgrade to new technology. What do I need to do? Many places are hybridized, meaning that they may upgrade the voice communication, but what do you do to upgrade the camera or the intercom system that goes up and down the elevator? What about that parking lot meter that's off on the side? People need to communicate that to the front desk in case their hotel key doesn't work. Many of the items do that, but a lot of people may not have cost issues, or it's too complicated to really do and upgrade those outer peripherals. Well, we come across a solution where you can actually take a two-wire solution, such as doing this like an old pot solution with an RJ11, or a group two-wire solution here, and be able to have all of the features that you might end up having with an RJ11, Cat5, or Cat6 cable doing that. And what we've done here is we created what we call our two-wire solution, and here's a real description of what we've done to support that. We actually have a switch out here that we actually you could put in the router because every place is going to have internet access, and you can actually plug in one of the ports of the outer port of the solution into this port that then feeds our PN24, PN8. And these boxes are really designed or optimized to support our endpoints here. The good news about these phones is that these phones do not have an Ethernet connection at the back. They have the classic RJ11, which then could just plug right into the wall of your office or whatever office building you might have, or your old villa that you want to use IP endpoints. Now, granted, that's great with the phones, but you might also have an access control that goes out into a front gate. We also have a PN product as well that allows you to connect one gate into the switch itself, can go across the red wire, which is the two-wire solution, and then you can really pair up our access control there, or quite frankly, almost any IP solution base that is out in a one-off where you can go up and down. You might have an office building with 3 elevators that you may want to install an IP camera, an IP intercom, or something like that. We have these tools that you can modify and send these Ethernet signals across the two-wire product to be able to support more higher end and sophisticated Ethernet product lines to do that. What we recommend is, because when you use these switches, we have several different endpoints that are expanding as we speak today, because each one of these solutions have specific power consumptions that only consume so much power. And the actual distance of the two wire can go up to about 900 feet, or it's actually spec'd at 300 meters. So with that stated, if you put something else on here, it may end up draining the ports or the power consumption that's available in these switches. And we resort to these PN1, which is far higher power, that's dedicated for a one line that you can go ahead and put pretty much whatever IP product. Hopefully you select Fanvil into these infrastructures. This is another different way of showing these different cases where you have the old classic analog setup, where you have the PSTN lines and you have your classic POTS lines that go through all these switches. But then when you want to switch over to upgrade one with the green lines, not everybody has access to having the Cat5. And once you have a Cat5, you could plug in any Ethernet-based endpoint that I showed earlier. But when you have a case here, when you only have, analog lines, you say to yourself, what do I do? Well, you could use any of our particular gateways to be able to use our two-wire PoE switch, take advantage of the two-wire and put our integrated phones or whatever other endpoints that you want using our PN1 as well. And that will take advantage and leverage it, and that will end up saving whatever upgrade costs that you might end up having to bring that building into the next tier of technology. This is just a table version that's just a verbal representation of all I mentioned. Why is it really important to really have all those features across two-wire? Because when you end up having the two-wire solution, you end up being able to have call parking, all of these call forward and transfer functions, because once you work in a two-wire environment across, say, an ATA, all you're subjected with are DTMF tones, where you plug in, you have to mark in and plug in these tones so that it's managed on the PBX solution. In this case, you can actually manage more of the advanced things like call parking across a two-wire, and that's something that's rare that you can't necessarily do over an ATA environment. And now you can actually bring full Ethernet functions by using our two-wire solution moving forward. Here's more of a deeper dive in our switches on PN24 and 8 switch. So this is great in a SMB environment or in a larger environment, and you can go ahead and plug this in. And the question I always get is, oh, what is the speed of these ports? The way I describe it is that one port feeds into this, and because one port of, say, a gig E switch in the back, all of these switches at the best expectation is a 10-100 at best case, because in that case, it's actually dividing that port, that audio, amongst several different ports, but it's only dedicated to support audio primarily. If you want to use all of these different ports, and we have dedicated two-wire endpoints, which I'll get into in the future. And when you buy these things, it'll actually come with its own located power supply in both front and back. So you can feed it here and you can see whether it's on or off. And we recommend using our dedicated two-wire switch endpoints to go ahead and plug into these devices. If you want to become a little more diverse, you can use our PN1 device. And this PN1 device really Every gift box comes with a pair of this. One box will go into the actual Ethernet switch where the internet port is based on, and then it'll actually provide PoE across the 2-wire and be able to offer one PoE switch at the other end. It could be at the gate or something like that, and you don't necessarily have to upgrade it. And it's really compatible with many other operation, IP type of endpoints moving forward. It also comes with a large a power supply as well, which will be able to meet any of the power requirements that you might have to have a one-off PN1 solution, so you can put in whatever access point you want on the other end of this environment. So you have lots of things that you can use with the PN1. Obviously, with besides our own um, integrated 2-wire phones, you could put cameras, door phones, intercoms. You could even put IP phones, our brand, or actually many other brands. To be frank with you, all the different horns and IP speakers that you can really pair up. So really, the PN1 2-wire converter gives you the opportunity to be able to take advantage of that and deploy SIP throughout your organization and be able to provide PoE at the endpoint for up to 300 meters or about a little over 900 feet, in the US measurement. Little idea on the 303 2-wire. Why is this different? Is because we actually integrated one of the PN1 gateways inside the phone itself. Why is it really great? Because when you're deploying these phones, the less peripherals you have is really a lower propensity to failure. And then when you look at that, in the back of this, you'll end up having a classic RJ11 connection in the back, and this will end up plugging right in. But it will give you all of the different features that you have while also supporting 4 SIP lines and be able to support all the call conferencing features that people will do. And we recommend using this with our PN8 as well as our PN24 streamlined network switches. Besides that, we also have for hospitality H1 2-wire as well. We realize that there are a lot of legacy hotels that want to also upgrade, but they don't necessarily have the budget to really upgrade all the wiring to support a desk phone. We have an alternative where you can actually put in a brand new switch and be able to have our H1 cost-effective 2-wire phone with an RJ11 that will provide that capability at the endpoint while leveraging their existing infrastructure at the phone. Again, this one we can customize the faceplate. One of the things that we do is that if you have it, we recommend having an MOQ of about 50 units. And if you're able to buy 50 phones with that plate, we'll actually provide the customization of faceplates free of charge. Now, ongoing promotions that we have, some of the V series that we actually have, we have our V62W and V61G. We actually go out there and we'll actually have a bundle demo price so that if you want to evaluate some of our new phones that's going out into our channel as we speak, you can go ahead and really bundle it for less than $100 to really evaluate these two phones. And we call this sort of our classic bundle demo. This is sort of a way for you to test drive it without spending a whole lot, spending what I would call production facilities, but it gives you ability to test drive these phones in your lab to see if they work for your configuration. And this is supported by all of our channel partners. In addition, in the production wise, once you go into production with us, we also have a buy 9 and get 1 free. And what that means is if you have a deployment of 10, buy 9, and we'll go ahead and throw an additional phone at the end. You want to buy 20, buy 18, or vice versa. And it'll multiply, saving you really a significant amount moving forward so that this project will go all the way out to March of 2025. And this really covers most of the entire V series, primarily most of our some of the baseline that we outlined here. So if you buy 9, you get 1 free. If you have any questions, feel free to contact our distributor channel to be able to get further access, as well as ZIESTECH as well. A little bit about 2-wire, since that also covers our last bit and our last slide. If you want to evaluate our 2-wire, we actually have bundles where you can actually couple a PN8 with our 303, or as well, you can couple a PN24 with one of our things just so you can kind of test how this thing works over your environment. But we also have a bundle that you want where you can pair any Fanvil IP device into our PN1. This will give you the most flexibility so that you can go ahead and see what we want to do. And we actually gave our channel partners a lot of flexibility so that you can go ahead and provide a one-time purchase NFR discount for our 2-wire, so you can have something in the back of your lab that you can go ahead and test out and see whether this will work over your infrastructure. that's the last slide that I have, and I'm just going to dedicate my future talks into answering whatever questions that you might end up having. For those who may have came in late, you could download a PDF file from your materials plugin that you might have for GoToMeeting. And what I'll do now is address any questions that people might end up having. I'm looking at the question box now. Nobody has really put in any questions to date, but I'll stay behind to see if anybody comes on, and I'll be more than happy to sort of chat with anybody that has it. Um, Let me see. Anybody with any questions? Nothing so far. If that's all you have and you don't have any questions, I want to thank everybody for your time as well in joining our webinar today. I'll stick around for the next 5 minutes along with Andrew to answer any questions that you might end up having. Okay, with that stated in mind, have a great day, stay healthy, and I look forward to crossing paths with you soon. Any questions, feel free to give myself or Andrew a call at ZIESTECH. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Yeah, I haven't seen any questions yet, but I'll stick around for another minute or two in case somebody comes up with a last minute question. I'll be able to.
Okay, and just one quick thing I wanted to mention to everyone still here. There was an error on the slides for our phone number.
Oh,
Our phone
was
number is
there?
actually, yeah, it's 514-558-1919.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Where was that? Where was that found actually?
On slide 345.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the number on the intro slide is correct, but
Okay.
yeah, we noticed that there was an error on those 3 slides. See,
Okay.
that one is correct.
Okay. Great. I'll just leave it at that for everybody's. If they downloaded it, that would be the first slide they'll end up seeing.
Yeah, if not, I could share with you a new one, but it's probably too late, eh?
Yeah, at this point in time, yeah, it's a little
Okay,
tough
no
one, but
problem.
it'll go on record so that what we'll end up doing is this is also recorded. If you wanted a copy of it, people will do it. Um, Okay, one person came up. Is a two-wire series supported on 3CX? Well, in fact, that's what we're looking at right now. Some of the phones that we actually are going with 3CX, they may have already been qualified. The question here is a two-wire solution is more of an infrastructure because 3CX doesn't really qualify whether you use a NetLink switch or a Netgear switch. Quite frankly, it's more of an infrastructure type of thing, but that we want to make sure that a lot of the things are done. The two models that we actually have is H1 and the X303. I don't know it off the top of my head, but if those two models appear on the 3CX solution, you may be able to take a look at the compatibility box. If not, I do know that we're actually making efforts to make them compatible as well. Okay. Hope that addresses your question. I mean, if they're compatible with a lot of the others, very often we'll go ahead and because they all have the same SIP stack from a Fanvil perspective, so we don't anticipate any problems. If by any means they're not, very often a lot of these phones can share the same templates as very similar phones, and we can go ahead and work with you one-on-one if you come across that deal. If it's not on their menu, there are many people who are anxious who we can go ahead and develop templates so that you can go ahead and quickly deploy this to your specific project. Not only on 3CX, but many of the other cloud-based PBX manufacturers as well. Thank you for your question. Okay, that is it. If that is it, I want to thank everybody for your time. Stay healthy. Look forward to crossing paths with you soon. Any questions, feel free to give me a call or send me an email, as well as Andrew from ZIESTECH. Either way, take care. This concludes our webinar. Any last words, Andrew, on your side?
No, I'd just like to thank everyone for their time and for being here this morning with us. And if you have any sort of questions, you could always reach out to us. We'd be happy to answer you anytime. Once again, our corrected phone number is 514-558-1919, as seen on the screen right now.
Great.
And that's all.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.